What's the plan?
Let the block.
Hey guys, I'm Swishtari, and I'm making this video to talk about macro strategy and ending games in Deadlock. I made a previous video on laning and building early value that I have linked right over here, so check that out if you want to see some more tips. This video is all about macro MOBA tactics and pressing the advantage to close out games. And macro in MOBAs refers to everything that your team does in terms of strategy, like when to mid, when to earn, what lanes to push or defend, versus the micro mechanics of fighting like aim and stamina usage. Positive communication is the shining factor here, so keep it fun and friendly and don't rage, but lead your team and be decisive. I think that 90% of the player base has devolved to spamming what's the plan, so be the plan. Speak proactively and not reactively, and you cannot change the past. So a good thing to establish early is what your team's strengths and weaknesses are. Some teams are strong with team fighting comps, and some have strong duelists who are better at taking the one-on-ones. Some strong team fighting champions you might notice in teams are people like Dynamo, Lash, and Furnace, Viscus, and Abrams, who can CC the whole team. They really shine in team fights and should look to group up more often and push as a group. There's also strong team fighting damage heroes like Pocket, Warden, Seven, Vindicta, and Kelvin. So recognize if your team is more on the team fighting side or the duelist side. Some of the duelist champions are more like Wraith, Haze, Geist, Shiv, Yamato, and Mo and Crow. Of course, there's the split push champion, McGinnis, which really shouldn't leave her lane until she's destroyed the enemy walker. So it's important to recognize the advantage of your team if it's stronger in team fighting and grouping up more, or if you're better at split pushing and taking.
The macro mid game is all about destroying the enemy objectives. At this point, many towers have fallen on both sides, and the main objective here is really just to destroy all 4 of your enemy's walkers. The value here is insane. You get 500 souls per hero, and no base push should really happen until all of these are destroyed. Big tip from another video is just to ebb and flow and build as much value as you can in your own lane, and make sure you're always defending your assigned objectives. In the mid game, you should be watching the minimap like a hawk and communicating what you see. Anticipate enemy offenses and try to get to those objectives early, especially walkers, to defend them. Call out teammates who are overextended or too deep and about to die to roaming heroes or junglers, and make sure to calm out when bridge buff timers are coming up, which is 10 minutes from the start of the game and every 5 minutes. It's also good to communicate any gankable enemies or counters for certain enemy heroes that are snowballing. Another big objective of the mid game is the earn. Your team should be looking to get the earn if you've secured 2 or more kills with long respawn timers. It's also important to note earn advantage. Earn advantage is when one team's net worth is 10% higher than the other team, which means that if your team has 10% more than the enemy team, the earn delivery spot will be on their side of the map. And if the enemy has 10% more net worth than your team, it'll be on your side of the map. You should always force the earn if you are at advantage and it's on your side of the map. Especially early on, many teams won't contest this as the walkers are still up and it's super dangerous to try. And you should almost never attempt delivery when your team is at disadvantage and it's on the opposite side of the map. You can pick it up and fake your opponents out into protecting that delivery destination while split pushing an opposite walker, but the value of delivering the earn is really not worth the position it puts your team in. And most importantly, ending the game. It's important to know when to push walkers, when to mid, when to take shrines, and when to end the game. Decision making at this stage in the game and losing a team fight can easily snowball into a quick GG, so lock in. Looking for picks is huge here because death timers are very long, so group up and abuse overextended enemies. You should always be looking to close out the walkers before securing mid boss if your team has advantage from a few picks. So push those walkers when your team's up and defend when your team is getting pushed.
There's nobody coming, you guys are good.
Warden's coming.
I'm outside watching.
Warden's above.
Yeah, he's here.
Is he up? Raj.
No. Wait. Wait.
They stole it.
So when should you mid? If you've gotten 2 or more picks and you've got the hero advantage on the enemy team, like you're in a 5v3 or a 6v4, you should try and push blue and green lanes past mid and then look to mid. If you have 4 or more teammates within the vicinity of mid and can quickly claim it without contest from dead or distant enemies, you should also try to secure that. If you know that the enemy team is going to contest, you should consider faking mid by telling your team to get the boss to 50% HP and then backing off to fight anyone who comes to contest with your hero advantage. Then you can secure more picks and then finish off the mid boss to get the buff. Mid boss buff is secured with a heavy melee, so you can have one teammate sit on it and parry to decrease the chance of a steal happening. Don't be stingy with your abilities, blast the mid boss with everything you have to quickly down it and get that buff. Use ultimates to secure the buff if it's even remotely contested. Some heroes like Infernus, Dynamo, Kelvin, Lash, and Abrams can all steal the mid-boss buff even with a huge disadvantage like a 5v2 scenario, so be extra careful if they are up and they have their ults. The next natural step is of course pushing the base. It's important to focus the towers down as you approach the base and kill those guardians quickly. Also, the shrines in this game don't really have the same barracks value as they do in other MOBAs. They don't empower any minions or provide team value other than a flex slot, so don't overextend for these and make sure you prioritize picks on the enemy heroes before trying to secure the objectives. After you've killed the first patron, the death timers will be reduced by 20 seconds for all enemy heroes that are dead. Typically, teams here will back up and reset and look for another team fight later on in the game, especially if this brings 3 to 4 heroes down to 10 seconds or less, as the weakened enemy patron won't spawn for that 10-second timer, and you'll quickly find yourself in a full team fight situation in a very disadvantageous position. As you flex back, you can try and steal some enemy jungle camps and secure value for your team while the enemies are cleaning up their base. And then again, you look for picks, secure the next team fight, and close out the game by killing the weakened patron.
That's all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or suggestions for additional videos, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And subscribe or like if you need the content. I'll make some more videos.